I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with a 3-minute cattle market update for Wednesday, June the 7th, where I was talking to a guy just yesterday afternoon and visiting about the market even before things broke, and talking about if any of you have ever built fence and been stretching a barbed wire and you want to get it as tight as you can, and you usually figure out one notch past where the wire will go, and I was famous for that, always busting wires and busting cables and this and that, but we just felt like we just had a notch or two left on this market, especially on the feeder cattle, because we were stretching that thing just about as far as it would absolutely go. And then finally Tuesday, late in the session on the futures, all the traders there got to thinking the same thing and just started selling off, and then we ended up down the limit, and it just happened at the very tail end of the Tuesday session there. But talked to several guys and some big feeder cattle auctions around. They said, of course everybody was talking about it, what happened, what was the news that come out. Really couldn't put our finger on any one particular thing, but it was just far enough. It seems like anymore, the way the market is, we can't have a nice little rally just stair-stepping up to get some better prices and better market position. It's just big jumps up and down, back and forth, and we can't ever sustain anything, because as soon as it gets up there, it automatically, the air starts to get thin, and we feel like that the bottom's out from under it, or whenever we go down, we feel like we can't go down a bit more, and then it jumps back up, but just forth and back, and you got to keep yourself protected, and you got to know what the market is, and I'm trying to do the best I can to help you guys out with that. But you look at the board early in the week, live cattle futures, the August contract, Monday was up just 15 cents. We thought that things were settling down. Tuesday then down 260, but not down the limit on your live cattle contracts. So that was important that it didn't lock down the limit there. But late Tuesday, your August ended at 123.60. Feeder cattle futures on the August, Monday was up $1.15. And then Tuesday down the limit late in the day. It was up all through the day, just kind of a moderate gain, and then all your nearbys just locked down the limit. And it was just from being up so much here in the last week or so. Just last week, your August contract gained $11.77. That is huge. And then another $1.15 on Monday, and there's just so much you can go in one direction before it's going to come back the other way. So Tuesday down the limit, ended the day at 155.37, and we were up there at points, never did close there, but at points we were over $1.60, and guys that had a lot of yearlings turned out, especially on grass, just had dollar signs in their eyes, thinking, oh my gosh, because those cattle, regardless of whether they get the $1.60 or not, those cattle are going to make a lot of money that are turned out. Most of them weren't bought way too high, and they could really put some cheap gain on them if they've been turned out in some big pastures there, and still most all those cattle still for sale. We haven't had any of the big videos yet to sell a lot of those cattle and kind of establish a market for the direct trade, and just a deal here and a deal there, but not anything widespread. Weighted average on last week's fat cattle trade, live steers averaged 136.27. That was up 4.77 compared to the previous week. Dress steers 216 even. That's very important there. The market spread for the most part was 215 to 216, but the weighted average was 216 even. So most all your cattle selling at the top of the market, just like late in your live sales, most all your cattle were 137, 137.5 late last week. But that 216 dressed was up $7.39 compared to the previous week. Box beef cutout values, just the spread just keeps widening. Tuesday there, you did see your choice cutouts break 250, ended at 250.45 in the afternoon session. It was up $2.10. Dress trade just about steady, up 13 cents at 219.57. Broke another record on the spread between choice and select at $30.88, and just keep spreading that out, widening that out. We are finally starting to see some of these better, more predominantly English cattle bring a little bit more in the sales. I'm talking feeder cattle, because they have a better chance to grade choice. In the last several years, we've seen cattle feeders wanting to make huge cattle again, feed them to weigh 15 or 16. They were having to get more crossbred in them, more exotic type cross, and you don't see that many cattle anymore unless you get a little southeastern influence in them. So, now we're starting to see more of your predominantly English cattle, more solid colored. Everybody says black, but there's no law that says that black cattle grade better than any other solid cattle, but more English and predominantly English cattle that are solid colored, sure enough, have a better chance to grade choice. But you look at your slaughter, 233,000 through Tuesday, that's 10,000 more than the same time a year ago. But you look at your feeder cattle markets early in the week, real-time index late Tuesday is at 149.64, up another 32 cents compared to Monday's close. Even though we saw that late sell-off, most of your guys in sales said that they were still selling cattle awful good after the board closed with feeder cattle. Your feeder cattle contract just doesn't pull the weight that the live cattle futures do. And most people figured, well, it's down the limit. It could be up the limit on Wednesday, and I would doubt it, but we'll see what happens. But earlier in the week, Oklahoma City had 9,300 head. Feeder steers were 8 to 12 higher. Feeder heifers 5 to 10 higher. They had a lot of catching up to do because they was closed on Memorial Day Monday. Calves not well tested, but a higher undertone for sure. Joplin on Monday, 9,900 head. Feeders, steers and heifers selling 7 to 10 higher. A lot of calves still in Joplin. They sold 5 to 10 higher, with your peewee calves weighing under 450, $10 to $12 higher. On Tuesday there, OKC West had their calf sale and a better test of calves, even though the calves are kind of hard to come by in that part of the country. But 2,600 head on Tuesday compared to just around 1,500 last Tuesday after the holiday there. But you look at your government market report, kind of hard to tell what was going on. They said they didn't have a good enough comparison to call, but I want you to look at your beef market central market report out of OKC West and El Reno on Tuesday. You can see very clearly that your steer calves there are mostly $5 to $10 higher in your well-represented weights, and that's a good enough test. That's as good a test of calves you're going to see anywhere. But individual quote on Tuesday about 12:30 in the afternoon, so probably before everybody knew that the board was going to break there. But Huron, South Dakota, Huron Continental Marketing, they had a load, or big more than a load, 872 head of steers, weighed 872, bring 164. That's 3 minutes. We'll talk to you on Friday.